Let me tell you something that may sound uncomfortable, but it changed my life the moment I truly understood it. Your life is not controlled by luck. It is not controlled by talent. It is not controlled by motivation. Your life is controlled by how you spend your 24 hours every day. Most people don't want to hear this because it removes excuses. We all want success. We want confidence. We want better English, more money, better health, better relationships, a better future. We want results. But we don't want to look honestly at our days. Because here is the shocking truth. If your day doesn't change, your life doesn't change. You can dream. You can pray. You can watch motivational videos. You can promise yourself that tomorrow will be different. But if today looks exactly like yesterday, then tomorrow will look the same too. And one day you wake up and realize years have passed, but nothing has really moved. I know this because I lived it. There was a time when I kept saying, I want more from life. But every day I woke up late, checked my phone first, reacted to messages, wasted hours scrolling, avoided hard things, and went to sleep tired but empty. I was busy, but I wasn't building anything. I was exhausted, but I wasn't progressing. That's when it hit me. I wasn't lacking ambition. I wasn't lacking intelligence. I wasn't lacking opportunity. I was lacking a structure. Everyone wants success, but very few people are willing to change the structure of their day. They want a different future, but they repeat the same routine. And that's the trap. Because your routine is not neutral. Time is not neutral. Every hour you spend is either building you up or slowly breaking you down. There is no pause button. There is no nothing happens mode. Even when you think you're doing nothing, something is happening. You are becoming someone. If today is filled with distraction, tomorrow will be filled with regret. If today is filled with intention, tomorrow will be filled with progress. Look at your day honestly. Not your goals. Not your dreams. Your day. What do you do when you wake up? What do you do with the first hour of your morning? Where does your attention go when you're tired? What do you give your best energy to? Because your answers to these questions already tell the story of your future. Most people say they want to change their life, but they protect the habits that are destroying it. They defend waking up late. They defend scrolling. They defend comfort. And then they wonder why nothing changes. Here is the hardest truth to accept. If today looks like yesterday, your future will look like your past. That's not punishment. That's physics. Time rewards patterns, not wishes. Once I understood this, I stopped asking, why isn't my life changing? And I started asking a better question. How am I using my time right now? That question was uncomfortable, but it was powerful, because it put the responsibility back where it belongs. With me. And this is what I want you to realize right now. You don't manage time. Time manages you. Time shapes your focus. Time shapes your discipline. Time shapes your identity. Time shapes your future. The way you spend your hours is the way you build your life, whether you're aware of it or not. So if you feel stuck, lost, behind, or frustrated, don't look at your luck. Don't blame your past. Don't wait for motivation. Look at your day. Because the moment you change how you use your time, you don't just change your schedule. You change who you are becoming. And that's where everything begins. You don't manage time. Time shapes you. If there is one part of the day that quietly controls your entire life, it is the morning. Not because it is special, but because it sets the direction for everything that comes after. For a long time, I didn't take mornings seriously. I believed waking up late was normal. I told myself, I work better at night, or I'll start tomorrow, or I deserve more sleep. But what I didn't see was the hidden cost. Every late morning created a rushed day. Every rushed day created stress. And stress slowly became my lifestyle. Here is a truth most people learn too late. Waking up before 8 a.m. gives you a head start on life. Not because early people are smarter, but because early hours are quiet. And quiet is power. When you wake up late, your day begins in chaos. The phone is already full of notifications. Messages are waiting. Deadlines are chasing you. You jump out of bed already behind. There is no space to think. No time to breathe. You are reacting, not leading. I lived like that for years. Every morning felt like a race I was already losing. Then I changed one thing. I started waking up earlier. Not perfect. Not dramatic. Just earlier than before. And something unexpected happened. the world felt different. When you wake up early, the world is silent. No one is demanding your attention yet. No one needs anything from you. For the first time in the day, your time is actually yours. That is real freedom. In that silence, I learned the value of 10 quiet minutes. No phone, no music, no talking, just sitting, breathing, being aware. At first it felt uncomfortable. My mind was noisy, but slowly that noise faded. And in that silence, I started hearing my real thoughts. Not fear, not pressure, not comparison, just clarity. 10 minutes of morning silence gives you something most people never experience. Self-awareness. You start the day connected to yourself, not distracted by the world. After that, everything becomes easier. Planning makes sense. Speaking English feels calmer. Decisions feel clearer, because your mind is no longer scattered. This is why a morning routine is not about productivity. It is about identity. Every morning, you are training yourself who you are becoming. Let me show you the difference with a simple comparison. Person A wakes up at 9:30, hits snooze, checks social media, skips breakfast, feels guilty, rushes out. The whole day feels heavy. English practice is skipped. Focus is weak. By night, they feel tired but unsatisfied. Person B wakes up at 6:30. The phone stays away. 10 minutes of silence. A little movement. A clear plan. Maybe some English speaking. The day starts calm and controlled. Even when problems appear, this person responds instead of reacting. Both people have the same 24 hours, but their lives feel completely different. The difference is not motivation. It is the morning. When you win the morning, you don't guarantee success. But when you lose the morning, you almost guarantee frustration. I'm not telling you to wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. I'm telling you to respect the morning. To stop giving it away to sleep, noise, and distraction. Because the first hour of your day decides your energy, your focus, and your discipline. And those three decide everything else. Once I understood this, I stopped seeing mornings as a burden. I started seeing them as training. Training for focus. Training for self-control. Training for the future version of me. And this is the rule I live by now. If you lose the morning, you lose the day. For a long time, I believed motivation was the key to success. I thought if I felt inspired enough, excited enough, passionate enough, I would finally change my life. But the truth hit me hard one day. Motivation is emotional, and emotions are unreliable. This is something no one likes to hear, but everyone needs to understand. Success is boring, and mastery is built on repetition. Most people don't fail because they are stupid or lazy. They fail because they get bored too fast. They start strong. Day 1 feels exciting. Day 3 feels okay. Day 7 feels repetitive. And then they quit. Not because it doesn't work, but because it doesn't feel new anymore. We live in a world addicted to excitement. New videos, new apps, new shortcuts, new promises. But real progress doesn't come from novelty. It comes from doing the same small things again and again, even when there is no excitement left. This is where most people misunderstand discipline. Discipline is not a personality trait. It's not something you are born with. Discipline is a muscle. And like every muscle, it grows only when you use it. Motivation says, I'll do it when I feel like it. Discipline says, I'll do it because it needs to be done. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is logical. If you wait for motivation, you will be inconsistent. Some days you'll feel powerful. Some days you'll feel tired. And your results will always be unstable. But when you build discipline, you show up even on the boring days. Especially on the boring days. Let me give you a simple example. 2 people want to improve their English. The first person watches a video today, feels inspired, practices for 2 days, then skips a week because they feel tired or bored. Every restart feels heavy. Progress feels slow. Confidence stays low. The second person does something very unexciting. Every day, the same routine. 10 minutes of listening. 5 sentences written. 10 minutes speaking out loud. No drama. No motivation. Just repetition. After 30 days, the difference is shocking. Not because the second person is smarter, but because repetition builds identity. They start seeing themselves as someone who practices every day. That identity is powerful. The same rule applies to fitness. You don't get strong from one hard workout. You get strong from showing up consistently, lifting light weights, repeating movements, feeling bored, feeling tired, and still doing it. Boring reps change who you are. Every time you do the hard thing when you don't feel like it, your brain learns something important. I can trust myself, and that trust becomes confidence. This is the real game most people never play. They chase motivation instead of building discipline. They look for hacks instead of habits. They want fast results instead of long-term change. But discipline doesn't care about your mood. Discipline cares about your future. I learned this the hard way. The days that changed my life were not the exciting ones. They were the quiet days. The days I showed up tired. The days I didn't feel progress. The days no one clapped. Those days built me. Small daily reps may look meaningless today, but they create massive identity shifts over time. You stop saying, "I'm trying," and start saying, "This is who I am." And once identity changes, behavior follows automatically. Here is the truth no motivational video wants to admit. If you want extraordinary results, you must accept ordinary routines. You must stop asking, "Is this exciting?" and start asking, "Is this consistent?" Because boring is not a problem. Boring is the price of mastery. And the people who are willing to pay that price quietly will always pass the ones who are waiting for motivation loudly. For a long time, I was busy every day. My schedule was full. My phone was always in my hand. My mind was always tired. But my life wasn't moving forward. And that's when I realized something uncomfortable. Being busy does not mean being valuable. The world doesn't reward effort alone. It rewards value. And value comes from skills. Skills that solve real problems. Skills that people need. Skills that give you options, confidence, and freedom. This is where many people get stuck. They work hard, but they don't grow valuable. They spend their time reacting, scrolling, answering, consuming, but not building anything that belongs to them. A high-income skill is not magic. It's simply a skill that creates impact. Communication, English speaking, writing, teaching, sales, content creation, design, technology, coaching, skills that can be used anywhere, anytime, and improved step by step. And here is the rule that changed my life. One focused hour a day can change everything. Imagine two people finishing work at the same time. One opens social media and scrolls for 1 hour. It feels relaxing. It feels harmless. But 1 year later, nothing has changed. Same skills, same income, same frustration. The other person uses that same 1 hour differently. No phone, no noise, just focused learning, English speaking, skill practice, building something small. 1 hour doesn't feel powerful today. But after 365 days, this person is not the same human anymore. Same time, different future. The problem is not lack of time. It's lack of focus. We live in a world of multitasking. People believe doing many things at once makes them productive. But in reality, multitasking destroys depth. It weakens thinking. It breaks confidence. And it leaves everything unfinished. This is where deep focus becomes a superpower. Think of sunlight. Spread everywhere, it feels warm but weak. Now imagine a magnifying glass. When it focuses light into one point, it creates fire. Nothing magical happened. The energy was always there. It just became focused. Your attention works the same way. When you jump between tasks, messages, tabs, and thoughts, your energy is scattered. But when you give one skill your full attention, even for 1 hour, growth becomes inevitable. This is why I stopped trying to do everything and started doing one thing deeply, especially English. English is not just a subject. It's a survival skill in the modern world. It gives access to knowledge, to people, to opportunities, to confidence, to global work. When you improve English speaking, you're not just learning a language. You're increasing your value. But learning is not enough. Teaching is where everything deepens. When you explain something to someone else, your understanding changes. Your brain organizes information better. Your confidence grows. Your voice becomes clearer. Teaching turns knowledge into identity. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to be one step ahead of someone else. Share what you learn. Explain it out loud. Teach yourself in the mirror. Help a friend. Write about it. Speak about it. When you teach, you don't lose knowledge. You multiply it. This is how skills grow fast. Learn deeply. Practice daily. Teach simply. And let me be clear about one thing. This requires sacrifice. Focus demands saying no. No to constant scrolling. No to distractions. No to noise. No to being busy without direction. But the reward is worth it. Skills buy freedom. Distraction buys regret. One gives you options. The other steals your future quietly. And every day, your time is choosing for you. There was a moment in my life when I realized something painful. If I didn't build something that belonged to me, I would spend my entire life building other people's dreams, working on their goals, following their schedule, living inside their rules. That realization changed how I saw time. Time is not just for surviving. Time is for creating. And creation is what gives life meaning. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they never build anything of their own. They stay in consumer mode forever, watching, scrolling, reacting, complaining, waiting. But builders think differently. They understand one simple rule. 1 hour a day is enough to change your life if you use it to build. I like to think of it as laying bricks. Imagine an empty field. Nothing there. No structure. No value. Just space. That field is your potential. Most people walk across it every day and do nothing. Years pass. The field stays empty. But a builder shows up with one brick. Just one. Every day. 1 hour of focused work. One small step. One imperfect action. No applause. No excitement. Just consistency. At first, nothing seems to change. Just a few bricks on the ground. But over time, a wall appears. Then a shape. Then a structure. And one day, something real stands where nothing existed before. That is how careers are built. Businesses. Skills. Confidence. Even self-respect. 1 brick a day beats no dream forever. But to build consistently, you need energy. And energy doesn't come from motivation. It comes from movement. Your body is not separate from your future. When your body is weak, your mind gives up faster. That's why daily movement matters. Walking, stretching, training. 30 minutes is enough. Not for appearance, for energy, for discipline, for consistency. Movement gives you momentum, and momentum keeps you building. Another habit that quietly upgrades your life is reading. 30 minutes a day with a good book can change the way you think, speak, and decide. Reading expands your inner world. It gives you language, ideas, and perspective. Without reading, your mind becomes a reflection of noise and trends. With reading, your mind becomes independent. You don't need many books. You need consistency. Builders also understand the power of environment. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, the voices you listen to, all of it shapes your standards. If you surround yourself with distraction, you normalize distraction. If you surround yourself with growth, growth becomes normal. And sometimes, building your life means creating distance. Not because you're better, but because you're serious. Time plus ownership creates self-respect. When you know you are building something that belongs to you, even slowly, you walk differently. You speak differently. You stop chasing approval. You stop comparing. Because you are busy creating. And creation is the highest form of confidence. This is what creator mode really means. Not posting online, not being famous, but taking responsibility for your time and using it to build a future you respect. Every day, you are choosing. Consume or create. Scroll or build. Escape or face your potential. Choose one brick. There is one thought that brings instant clarity if you are brave enough to face it. One day, this life will end. Not to scare you, not to depress you, but to wake you up. When I truly understood that my time is limited, everything changed. I stopped treating days like they were endless. I stopped wasting hours like they would return. Death didn't make me afraid. It made me focused. Because when you remember the end, you start living with urgency. You stop asking, how do I look? You start asking, am I living honestly? You stop delaying. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop building excuses. And you start building a life that actually matters to you. One habit that helped me anchor this awareness was writing to my future self. Not goals, not plans. A letter. I would sit quietly and write to the person I was becoming. I would tell them where I was struggling, what I was afraid of, what I hoped they had grown into, what I never wanted them to forget. That letter became a mirror across time. It reminded me that every small action today was shaping someone real in the future. Someone who would live with the consequences of my discipline or my distractions. If you want to feel direction, write to your future self. Give your effort a face. Give your discipline a reason. And then every night, I began doing something simple but powerful. I planned the next day. 20 minutes. No phone. No noise. Just clarity. I asked myself 3 questions. What matters tomorrow? What must get done no matter what? And how will I protect my energy? That habit gave me control. I stopped reacting to life. I started designing it. Stress reduced. Focus increased. Confidence followed. This is when everything came together for me. I realized there are no shortcuts. No hacks. No secret formulas. Only systems. A system for mornings. A system for discipline. A system for skills. A system for energy. A system for focus. A system for planning. When systems are in place, motivation becomes optional. Life becomes intentional. And this is the biggest truth I learned. Time is not money. Money can be earned again. Time cannot. Time is not something you spend. Time is who you become. Every hour you waste shapes a weaker version of you. Every hour you invest shapes a stronger one. Your habits are not small. Your routines are not normal. They are sculpting your identity every single day. So don't just listen to this. Live it. Wake up with intention. Protect your mornings. Accept boring reps. Build valuable skills. Create something that belongs to you. Plan your days. Write to your future. Respect your time. And if this message helped you see your life differently, stay with us. Subscribe. Apply what you heard. And come back tomorrow as someone who uses time with purpose. Because in the end, legacy is not what you leave behind. Legacy is who you become while you are still here. Time is not something you spend. Time is who you become.